Yeah, we're going live, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Good evening, councillors and Matt. Welcome to tonight's meeting of Planning Environment Services. I'd just like to introduce you to, we are being live streamed on YouTube. So you're all aware of the protocols and terms using remote technology. And I see we've got myself, Claire, Anne, David and Alison present. Have we any apologies?
We'll record Councillor Gower's apologies, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you.
How is he? Do we know how he is?
Nothing further from the last time when he came to full council to report.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Item 3 then, declarations to record any declarations of interest by any member of the council and officers in respect of the agenda items listed below. Members declaring interest should identify the agenda item and type of interest being declared. Item 3B, to note dispensation given to any member of the council and officer in respect of agenda items below.
None received, Mr.
Chair. Item 4 then, to note the minutes of the Planning and Environmental Services Committee held on the 1st of Feb. These were approved, previously circulated and approved at the full council on the 14th of Feb. Item 5, delegated responses. You've all had them before you.
Yeah.
You happy with them? Yeah.
Just have a proposal in a second, please, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I'll propose them. David seconded them. Thank you, David. Item 6 then, planning applications. Item 1, land south of Church Lane substation, Church Lane, Beverley.
Yeah, statement. It annoys you when they just submit, resubmit. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So do we go along with the suggestion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just for clarification, so members are aware, it's an amended plans, and subsequently previously the town council didn't give an objection, but between then and the amended plans, there's several residents who are concerned, and they have changed the plans, but don't appear to be addressing any of the concerns raised.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Matt. Item 2 then, railway land between Friars Lane and Armstrong Way, Beverley. Erection of a pipe bridge over the railway line between Friars Lane and Armstrong Way to facilitate the delivery of Beverley and district heating system. You'll remember this is got you, Matt. This is the pipe which is coming from the leisure centre. Over to you, Matt.
Yeah, this application now has subsequently from the agenda going out has quite a few objections from members of the public and the civic society. So the recommendation, the suggested comments initially made can be pulled apart. To give some updates, as the chair said, it's connecting the leisure centre complex energy centre to the distribution of heat.
Yeah.
I've spoken to one of the officers connected to the project, which had some questions, and they've confirmed that the pipes are to carry it's carrying the steam that's generated to be distributed elsewhere. I asked about the fact that it's going over and not under the pipeline, and they said that the cost of that could potentially put up to £500,000 extra on the project to go under the railway lines. And also there'll be additional significant impact but for diverting it. However, there are quite a lot of objections from members of the public regarding how it looks. One of the suggestions that some residents have made is that could it not be connected to the current railway bridge?
Yes.
Armstrong Way to Friars Lane. I asked that question to the officer, and they explained that when they'd asked the same question, Network Rail, who own and manage the bridge, said that to connect anything to it, it would need to be rebuilt to be able to sustain it safely. And if a bridge like that is rebuilt these days, it can't just be stairs. It has to be, you know, that zigzagging sloped access, which could potentially be on the Flemingate side, but there isn't enough space on the Fries Lane side to facilitate that sort of bridge, which is one of the reasons that they've had to separate it from actually connecting it with the bridge itself. As I say, residents have expressed concerns. So my initial suggested response might not be suitable. Now I've got more information. There's more information there, so it's up to councillors to discuss. I've made some extra notes regarding a longer potential response. If you want to see that after you've had some discussions.
What's your wishes, councillor? Yeah,
It does seem a bit daft that we're going to have two bridges, as it were. One's the pipeline and one's going to be the actual bridge.
Yeah.
And it's going to look awful. I can't think what else we could do.
Matt?
If you like, I made some comment. I made some more thoughts, which I'll just share with you, which are in more detail. I'll just read through it. That although Beverley Town Council appreciates the importance of the Beverley District heating system, it expresses concern regarding the location design of the proposed bridge. However, the Town Council also appreciates the need for the project to be financially viable, and that that alternative ways to transport the heat might be costly.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you just hold with me.
So who's going to pay the extra cost?
Well, this is the question, if it could be moved. So another suggested comment is explaining here, as you can see, that it's not, that the actual aesthetics around it, the history around it is an issue. So I'm sorry with the technology moving it down so you can read it all.
Going to be a blocked on the landscape, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having problems sharing it, so I'll just read out the rest. So explain about in general this area is historic and the loss of heritage value, and that other developments like Flemingate have worked hard to make sure that the views of the Minster are preserved, and that while still being suitable for modern need. And so potentially after this is something that you could consider, that after consideration, Beverley Town Council requests that further investigations be made regarding alternative routes and methods to transport the heat. If other alternatives have already been considered and declined, it'd value that information being publicly available, because that might help people understand the situation. The Town Council appreciates there's a difficult and delicate balance between providing a new infrastructure for sustainable energy whilst not damaging the built heritage of the town. Therefore, as it currently stands, the Town Council reluctantly objects to the application, but welcomes further consultation and revised applications regarding the proposal. That's just a suggestion. I know it's quite lengthy, but then councillors to consider and discuss.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Sounds good to me, yeah.
Are you proposing that, Anne? Yeah.
I'll propose, yeah.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
Are we in agreement? Yeah, in agreed. Yeah.
As I said, just for clarification to members of the public, I don't want to be leading on this, but I give suggestions that councillors can then pick apart and agree with or throw away.
Yeah. Okay. Item 3 then, 1 Oak Close, Beverley. Erection of a single-storey extension to side and rear following demolition of existing garage and conservatory. This is a revised scheme, and we have no objection to this application. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Dell 7 Corners Lane, Beverley. Erection of a single-storey extension to the rear following the demolition of existing outbuilding, conversion of existing carport to create additional living accommodation and widening of vehicular access with replacement pillars and entrance gates. And this is a revised scheme. And again, we don't have any objection to that. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah. D&F Kitchen, 13 Eastgate, Beverley. Installation of commercial kitchen extraction ducts to the rear and side. And this is retrospective. Suggested taking into consideration the concerns raised by building conservation. The town council objects to this application and advises the applicant to follow the advice of the conservation officer. Do we agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah. And again,
Agreed.
it's this retrospective
Yeah,
thing that
absolutely.
really always bugs me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
88 Minster Millgate, Beverley Minster Conservation Area. Pollard 1 number ash tree to 03-6 0.6 meters from the main stem union as tree has outgrown its position. And as Matt says, it's unclear if the tree is to be cut back or removed entirely.
It is.
If the latter, then we as a town council request that 2 suitable species of the tree to be planted to replace the one felled.
Yeah.
You agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah.
27 Beaver Road, Beverley, erection of a single story extension to side. And again, this is retrospectively, and why, with that in mind, we were disappointed again, and we have no objection. Agreed.
Yeah.
1 Eldon Eden Road, Beverley. Good evening, David.
Good evening. Sorry,
Erection.
I fell asleep.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
forgive you.
Erection of a
done.
boundary fence and gate to front and side boundaries. And again, this is a retrospective application, and we're disappointed at that, and we don't have any objection to it. That's 3 retrospective applications so far. We agree with that.
Yeah. I'm just sorry. I'm
Minster Garth Guest House to Kelgate, Beverley. One of these days, and they'll get the message, won't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Internal alterations to allow conversion of part of a guest house to self-contained residential flat. And Beverley Town Council has no objection to this application. Agreed. 12 Highgate, Beverley, erection of a balcony to rear following the removal of existing balcony. I suppose the old one was getting past its sell-by date, and they've decided it needs replacing, but it is in a conservation area, and that's why it's been brought to our attention with no objection to that. 49 Kelgate, 24 St Martin's Court, erection of a single-storey extension to rear following demolition of existing conservatory. And Beverley Town Council, we don't have any objection to this application. 49 Kelgate, Beverley, erection of a single-storey extension to the rear following the demolition of existing lean-to greenhouse. Internal works to alter, remove chimney at ground floor, alterations to roof pitch of existing single-storey rear projections, upgrade of existing rear sash windows, installation of new lime and sand skirts, render surface to match existing at front, installation of structural steel lintel inside archway at front, and other remedial works. And this is a revised scheme. And the suggestion is Beverley Town Council has no objection to this application on condition that should any concerns be raised by the East Riding Conservation Officer, the applicant will positively address such comments.
Yeah.
Is that agreed?
Yeah.
Agreed.
And last but not least, 103 Minster Millgate, Beverley, Minster Conservation Area, crown reduce 4 number yew trees by 3 meters in height to 2 meters in width, and crown lift to 4 meters due to the trees casting extensive shadows over the rear garden and property. Beverley Town Council does not object to this application on condition that the work is carried out at a time that has the least negative impact on wildlife. That's the norm.
Yeah.
Do we agree with that?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Item 7 then, Clark, telecommunication consultation. You've all received that in your pack. Item
Could I just clarify, Mr. Chair, that should read that A is the Clark Telecom, B is WHP Telecom. Just to clarify that they've both gone through Cornerstone, with different companies. That was the confusion when I was looking at it.
Right. So A, Clark Telecom consultation. I take it you've all read it. Do you have any objections? No.
Okay, no.
And 7B, again, you've had them circulated. No objection.
No objection.
No.
As these are pre-planning consultation, I'll write to the companies explaining that there's no objection at this time. We'll await the full planning application through the appropriate system.
Item 8 then, to consider the exclusion of the public from the meeting on the grounds that confidential information in relation to business contracts and legal matters shall be disclosed. Public bodies admission of meetings Act 1960. And the motion is, I so move that the public be excluded from the meeting on the grounds that confidential information in relation to the business contracts and legal matters shall be disclosed. Again, public bodies admission of meetings Act 1960. Can I have a seconder, please? David seconded. All agreed. Thank you. So now we exclude the public.